What's going on, Soko fam? Today we have an incredible guest in DG. We got incredible guests in Sports Guru Q, and our Norm Mello and me. But today we'd like to send our well wishes to Starboy. He couldn't be with us today, but he'll probably be joining the pod next week. If you guys are missing his presence. But I like to give Sports Guru a chance to introduce himself. How we doing, man?
What's good, fellas? Man, I'm Sports Guru Q. I'm new to the scene. Just here to give my take on all the hottest events of today and yesterday. Let's get going.
All right, all right.
Live.
All right, so I'm trying to figure out which one I want to start with because we got some topics for y'all today, man. One of them, let's see. I want to talk about the Diddy being free thing. That's where I want to start with.
Oh,
So
on the way to being free.
yeah, so I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna start with you, Q.
Oh man, no, listen. Well, all right, man. So a lot of the stuff. So I'm very well versed with the judicial system, both on the state and the federal level. Um, a lot of what they did. It's a tough call, and I'm just gonna keep it a buck. It's a tough call for our whole generation because every great black man that we've ever seen rise to the top has gotten taken down by our federal government. So it's hard to make the call if this is a legitimate issue or if this is just them trying to topple another black man that's sitting on top of the culture and is a role model for young black men. Um, and I'm probably going a little hard for my first time on the podcast, but
Preach,
can't do
Pastor.
listen. I can't do nothing but keep it a buck.
Right,
Uh,
right.
Now I listened to a lot of the trial because I wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to know. I wanted to know if I thought it was BS or if I thought it was, there was some legitimacy to the case. There most certainly was some legitimacy to the case. Like Diddy is not who we thought he was, and the way that any man knows a lot of those situations he handled, it shows big weakness. You know what I'm saying? But the
Right,
question is, was that illegal? Was that
right.
illegal? If I want to hire a back page hooker to come and urinate in my girl's mouth and she's cool with it, is that illegal?
Nah,
I don't think so, bro. I don't
it's
think so.
consensual. If
Now,
it's consensual,
if
it's
I
not.
if I videotape it happening and then tell her if she don't do what the hell I want her to do afterwards, that might be illegal. But there's so many aspects to this case that it's hard to call, and obviously it's so hard to make a true judgment because we were able to listen to what the witnesses said, but we couldn't see their body language. So the
Right.
jury obviously saw something different from what most of us saw that just sat there and listened to the case over whatever podcast our news agency was covering the actual proceedings. Um, and with that, I'll pass to one of y'all. I'll interject when I
Okay.
feel in my
But
heart.
before we pass it, I got one question for you. Do you think that some evidence was scrapped, or do you think they found what they found, and this is all we could get them on?
I personally think that if I was sitting in that jury and I know how the system works, I'm voting non guilty because I'm gonna be at the next freak off with Diddy if I want to be. What you mean, bro? You guys follow these types of cases when rich men get prosecuted. There's normally somebody in the jury that knows, oh shit, I'm gonna be able to write a book off of this.
Right.
I'm gonna be on whatever podcast, news agency, whatever I want to be. All right. And third, bro, owe me one. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Bro, owe me one now. So I'm not necessarily surprised that a man with that much power, that much influence in his home city, because New York City is his city,
Right.
Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised, but I don't think it'll ever be the same for bro. If nothing else, he's embarrassed beyond belief.
Right. Your name been dragged.
Oh, bro, dragged. I mean, come on, man,
We got
bro.
a whole saying. We got a
Yeah.
whole saying behind it. So, what about you? What about you, Mello?
I mean, for me, man, I was not surprised, not gonna lie to you. And I have this motto that I say, money talks. And especially, who Diddy is as a person, the type of money he has. I just knew for a fact, he was going to get away with it. You get what I mean? It's just unfortunate of all the victims that suffered through it. But I mean, it goes to show you, bro. Hey, we live in a world where, like, if you don't have money to back it up, I think that they will find you guilty. But the fact he has money, he has the power, he has the fame. Hey, man, nothing can stop the guy. So, like I said, I'm not surprised, but I'm very disappointed on how like everything was handled. Not gonna lie to
So my question to you, right,
you.
is with the whole Cassie situation, right? If
Right.
you are feeling used and abused, right, and mistreated by an individual, what keeps you going back?
Definitely has to be either the money or I said the lifestyle that comes with it. That's
Okay.
what it is. Either the money or lifestyle. And
Seeing some
once when you I guess transition out of it, dang, it's gonna be you could say it will be like a hard relapse to kind of get yourself together or I should find your own mojo.
Okay.
I got something to piggyback of off of that. Diddy, you already know, like, based off his history what type of guy he is. You know, he seemed like he that type of person when he's in a relationship. He kind of like the controller. Like everything he said go. Like what was that one little show that he had? The band
Oh
show. I forgot.
yeah.
making the band when he made him
Yeah,
walk
Man,
16 blocks to get him some cheesecake. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that. You know, so
yeah.
once I seen that show, I was like, yeah, I know what Diddy really about. You know, but we just never seen it in like real life. You know, and on top of that, you a celebrity. You're linking up with all these celebrities. You know, the baby oil stuff. I don't know what exactly he was doing with the baby oil, but you know, shoot, he
Baby
might get
oil
a
was
sponsor to get
wild.
out. We
How
gonna
many
see.
bottles of baby oil, brother? How many bottles?
Wasn't like over 1,000? Wasn't
I
It
it?
think
was
it was. Yeah, no, I just wanted to hear somebody else say it. That was it.
it
Say it because yeah.
was boxes
So,
on boxes. That's what I remember.
I'm gonna be real. So let's put ourselves there. So what you like walk into wherever, I don't know, name some place that sells baby oil, fellas.
shoot, Walmart.
Why
Walmart.
so you walk into Walmart and you're like, oh, there ain't enough baby oil on the shelf for me. I need all this and whatever y'all got in the back. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put
I think he
it.
probably was going to the Johnson and Johnson headquarters, man. He had a
Yeah,
subscription,
he
bro.
was hanging out with them
Yeah.
people. He's got to be a
Yeah.
sponsor. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Watch
Mhm.
Johnson sponsor him when he gets out.
They
You
got
know,
the truck. They got the truck going straight to his house.
bro,
He got a loading dock,
the factory.
man. But yeah, so my personal take on this is I think the truth always comes to light, but at the same time, like you said, Q, there will be a book written about this type of stuff. And a lot of the details that are left out in the media always find their way to somebody's book. So I think that's exactly what's gonna play out. They're
Well,
gonna,
do you think a lot of details were left out?
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of
Y'all
because
do? Okay.
when it comes to the whole uh escorting of women and all this stuff, they getting people off of RICO cases based off of just like somebody being flown out.
Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna tell you right now from past experience. Okay. If I got caught doing any of this shit, excuse my language, any of this stuff,
Oh yeah,
edit
you
that out. Bro, I want to be if now one of us got caught, bro, we're not seeing daylight. So
We're
what
not.
you said,
right,
what
right.
you said, Mello makes no. It's the money walks, bro, for real. But no, I know people personally who are doing 15 years in the joint in federal prison for way less than this.
Right.
So I didn't see some of these charges. The RICO was kind of hard for me to see because the RICO means that there's somebody else needs to be on. The four of us could catch a RICO and we could all be on trial for it. But me catching a RICO by myself and not having no co-defendants sounds
Mhm.
crazy. How do I catch a RICO by myself? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
And then check this out. Nobody ever really questioned Young Miami. Nobody ever questioned, anybody like the likes of Jay-Z or Beyonce. You know what I'm saying?
now, all right. So here's the question though. So you remember when the second girlfriend that they didn't drop her name? I can't remember what her pseudonym was, but she said that she had gotten flown out to Vegas with a very prominent rapper. That what she called him exactly? he was and I'm not using the proper verbiage, but she said that he was like up there with Diddy. Who was she talking about? It was either Jay-Z or Kanye.
Right,
Mhm.
right,
Who was it?
right. One of the two.
Yeah.
One of
Well, he
it,
also said that she was there for the whoever whatever rapper it was, his wife's birthday, that they were also having a similar freak off situation. She flew
mm,
on this private jet. There's got to be some pictures on social media somewhere of
come
wherever
on
she
now.
like somebody
Mhm.
who knows what they're doing is gonna figure that out. But yeah,
Right,
I was wondering the whole time if Jay-Z and Beyonce were being talked about without being talked about during a lot of this trial.
right, right. So we just gotta wait for the books.
I guess so.
We just
I guess so.
so to transition, what was the Fourth of July like for y'all? And I'm gonna start with you, Mello. What was the Fourth of July like for you, man?
For me, man, as I get older, I really don't care for these holidays. I only do it because my son, for him to enjoy, to enjoy holidays. But for
Mm,
me, just like another regular day, you just go out to the pool, eat some barbecue afterwards, and just kick it. I mean, I kid you not, I really felt like it was a Saturday, and it was very hot that day, and just see my boy enjoy himself in the pool and see him worn out afterwards. That was the best part. That was the best part of my fourth, if you ask me.
okay, so that's where the gratification came from.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. What about you, DG?
Yeah, this year different, dog. I ain't gonna lie, like I ain't even get one plate this year. I
Whoa,
remember there's years I got
Oh,
like 4 plates in one day. I ain't
damn!
get one
You was
plate,
it?
bro.
Was it networking? What happened there?
I don't know. Nobody threw nothing like the people I usually go to. Nobody
yeah.
threw nothing this year, bro.
Wow. Everybody said it was like a regular day.
Yeah, like
Favorite
some of
person.
the people I put up to their house, not even announced. I didn't even tell them that I was coming. I just put up hoping that there was barbecue. Nobody had it.
He say he say he grades Fourth of July's off of how many plates he brought in, and he didn't get no plates this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. I mean,
He's
that's a
not even
that's a
sure if
very
we fought for our independence or not. Are we free? What's going on? Where are my plates at?
Exactly. At least one. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't even get one.
Not one plate.
yeah. That's a vital part of everybody's day. You know what I'm saying? Hoping that you smell that barbecue, and everybody's fellowship, and you might see some cards games going on in the corner, dominoes over here. You know,
Mhm.
that's what the day means for me, at least. Like, I mean, of course, what they want it to be about, but I feel like there's still a whole backstory on that. Like, but what about you? What about you, Q?
I mean, listen, I had a beautiful fourth. It's I can't even complain, bro. I'm blessed in every way. You know what I'm saying? My baby had a great day. My wife had a great day. Her family had a great day. I can't complain, man. So, you know, it's another day for me. I mean, I feel yeah. Once again, we don't want to get me started. I'm gonna take this show completely politically if you allow me to. So don't ask me how I feel about the Fourth of July because you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Are we free?
Right,
We
right,
in
right.
the Oval Office tell you what the Declaration of Independence means because he can't. So what are we talking about? We in a wild place right now. So we'll
Yeah,
just. But listen, it was a beautiful as far as family's concerned, and what I got into it. Yeah, it was an amazing day. Another great day in the books. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. We make it what we want it to be about. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Family and fun. If it's about plates, I'm with bro. I only got one. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
they didn't
Yeah,
hit, it didn't hit like the past couple years.
right. People, listen. It's some egg prices. I guess it's high. You know what I'm saying?
That
I'm
yeah,
saying,
that could be another thing. Like food could be too expensive. Like people, I'm not gonna
That's
really
what
like
it
cook
is,
out this
bro.
year.
That's what happened, dog. Food was too expensive. You got cut out of the picture, man.
yeah,
Man,
yeah. So to transition, I got trade talks. So
Mm,
when I say
mm,
trade talk,
mm.
this one right here, I was so anxious to jump on live and Twitch with y'all boys. You know what I'm saying, to discuss this because I feel like a lot of talk was about whether our beloved Dolphins. We're gonna act like Melo's not here. We can just keep, but our beloved Dolphins, man. We're trying to see if who got the better end of the deal, really. in my personal opinion, if y'all check on Twitch, I'll tell y'all like I honestly believe both teams walked away, kind of unscathed due to the fact that the Ramsey we were supposed to get off him anyway because we we had a disgruntled guy in our building, so we had to make a move. But I'm glad we got something out of it.
Ooh, see, no, were we supposed to get off with him, or listen? He was gonna go play ball. If I would have been the general manager,
Oh, you'd have made him
he
stay.
was gonna end his career. He got on the contract for 2 more years. He's till he's 33. So play with me, okay? So play with me. Oh, we just made you the highest paid cornerback last year for no reason other than to feed your ego. All right, so it's time to go play ball, bro. And I think that one of the biggest problems is Miami is that Chris Greer.
Say it.
Look at the Xavier Howard situation. He don't got no balls, bro. Look at the Xavier. If I'm gonna pay you all this money, and you decide you're going to, and I understand I'm a different breed, bro. We would have been banging out in that office. What do you mean, dog? I paid you $30 million. I can't even trade you for anything but a 5th-round pick, and I take a huge hit. I'm still paying Xavier Howard $15 million a season from a few years back. And you
from the dead cap.
Yeah, X said either Miami pays me or I'm gonna go play somewhere else. He spent the whole year last year and nobody signed him. So how are you still falling for this rah? These men are at the end of their careers. I love Jalen Ramsey. I was so excited when we got him. I still think he's a top flight cornerback and will be a Pro Bowl safety for 2 or 3. Probably till he's 35 if he wants to be. You know what I'm saying? But you don't pay that man all that money and let him treat you and your organization like that. And
He was bullying them. He was bullying them.
What I will say though is what we came away with was way better than I expected.
That's what I'm getting at.
I don't like throwing Jono in it.
No.
This is going to transition to the next thing you're going to talk about. I don't know if replacing him with Darren Waller, who hasn't had a decent season since 2021, was the answer. But I don't mind bringing back in Minka. Okay, yeah. I don't mind bringing back in Minka. I do think Kader Kohu can maybe step up on the boundary. We draft a lot of kids and we don't give them the game day experience. We're like, oh, they're not doing what they're practicing. I'm not going to play them. That's not the way it works. You got to get them out on the field and see what they can do. So we got Smith. What's his first name?
Cameron
Smith.
Okay. We got him that we drafted in the second round. It's been sitting there for 2 years. If you remember, we did this a couple years ago, and I can't pronounce his last name. He got traded to the Cowboys. Now he just had a good year.
Igbenogany.
I was about to try to say Igbenogany, right?
Yeah.
Like anyways, so we've been down this road before. And Chris Greer has been here for every second of this. So I just don't understand if he's not learning his lesson or what exactly is going on in that building. But the teams that are successful demand accountability from their players. And that starts from the top down. Okay, so you cannot blame Mike McDaniel, a young, unexperienced coach who has done amazing look how he's turned his career around. You can't blame him for some of the culture issues that are in Miami. And I feel like Chris Greer needs to go. McDaniel needs to stay. And, and we see where all the cards lay in another 3 or 4 years. But
this is what I will say. I say Chris Greer is soft, right? But the problem is we're already in the mix of this whole situation happening. So he's trying to patch up something that he's always trying to patch up a different leak. You know what I'm saying? And
a different problem he made.
Yeah. So now that we here, I felt like he left that situation as unscathed as he could possibly leave it, due to the fact that we could have really just got nothing back for Jalen.
True.
But instead we end up getting our old guy back. And what I'm scared of is our old guy gonna come in and be like, I still can't deal with this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Or is he gonna come in and actually win a ball for us? What are your thoughts on that?
Everybody quiet on that. All right, yeah.
Oh
See,
no. I thought that
Minka
you were
gonna
gonna
have
say
to play.
something. Nah, I
Minka
thought
gonna
that
have
you
to
was
play for his next contract. He's got to play for his next
Oh, for
contract. He's
sure,
still
for
on
sure.
like what? Maybe a second deal. He wants that third deal.
But you
yeah, it
know
was
what?
that third.
He's got to
You know
ball
what?
out for the next 2 years so he can get so he
The
can get.
name value that some okay, like this is how I feel about Jalen, right? The name value on Jalen is more valuable than his actual play at times. Because
Absolutely right now. Yeah, where we're at now
yes,
in his career, absolutely.
so with Minka, I feel like his name travels better than his play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though he's a baller, but I feel like we getting he's in the prime right now. If we put Minka at corner right now, I don't think we're gonna get the best Minka. I'd like him to play in that safety role where he can, survey the field, see what's going on, rather than if we just have him at a corner spot and we're interchanging because our Dolphins like to freaking put this guy here and try to play positionless. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just
Have
hoping.
you heard something about Minka playing corner? I didn't hear that. I don't see him fitting
No,
in that role
No,
whatsoever.
I don't. Well, what happened was when
in
he
this
came
truck.
to the Dolphins, they was trying to do that bullshit with him,
Yeah,
and
Brian Flores. He was trying to make him play
Oh, you
everything,
talking
and
about when they
then
were putting him in the slot? Yeah, when they were putting him in the
yeah.
yeah,
slot when he first. Okay,
So I'm like, I hope that our beloved defensive coordinator can just keep him in one spot, let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Let him play for his contract. We don't want no more disgruntled players. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we were trying to switch the regime over, but we still got to get rid of Greer.
right. Now, listen, just for another note, and if I've learned anything from the situation we were talking about earlier, I think we should take a second to talk about the Steelers too,
Right.
who are ramping up right now for I think a there's lots not to like about Aaron Rodgers, but that man can play football. He can read defenses. He's got an arm. Pittsburgh hasn't had a quarterback since Big Ben retired, and you've still seen them cusp of being in the playoffs or being in the playoffs every year. I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan, like a huge Mike Tomlin fan. You look at stability in franchises, and Pittsburgh is
Yeah.
up there with maybe, I mean,
Both.
since I was a little boy, I mean, I'm 42 years old. Since I was a little boy, they had either Bill Cowher or Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? I can go back to being 10 years old and I know who the coaches of the Steelers were, you know,
Wow.
and I believe in Pittsburgh. I've always believed in Pittsburgh. It's
Mhm.
hard not to believe in Pittsburgh the way that organization is ran from the top down. Just like I said about Miami earlier, it starts at the top, and that team is ran well. Pittsburgh is loading up. They got Deshaun Elliott from the Dolphins last offseason. He just had a career year, 108 tackles, one
Yeah.
interception, 20 fumbles. Just signed, I believe, a 3-year, $42 million extension.
That's correct.
Right. So they don't necessarily need Minka. Now on the boundary, they now have Ramsey, Darius Slay, and Joey Porter's boy. Which,
Right.
if any of us remember Joey Porter, I believe in his boy all day long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like
Joey
them.
Porter Jr. is going to
Physical.
be a dog. All right.
Physical.
No questions about it. So they're stacked. Pittsburgh is stacked right now. The only thing I don't completely understand is and one of y'all
TJ.
have to remind me of what his name is. The boy the wide receiver that they traded to Dallas.
Pickens.
Pickens.
Oh, Pickens. He's a
Pick
cancer. He's a cancer.
Is he a cancer? Because the kid's got a catch radius like something I haven't seen in a while. That boy looks like Megatron. So all right, he's a cancer, whatever. We're going to be about 4 or 5 weeks into the season, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be jumping up and down talking about where his Adams at. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see why
Yeah.
you didn't keep that weapon in Pittsburgh for Aaron Rodgers, because I think the writing's been on the wall for months now that that's where Aaron was going. Way before he signed, once you saw Minnesota make
Yep.
the moves that they made,
Mm-hmm.
where was Aaron going? And there was no way he was hanging it up. His ego's too big. He's still on all these talk shows. He wants to try to go out like Elway and Brady and some of the other greats that he's seen before him. And who blames him for it?
I
But
don't see it happening though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't.
same here. I don't see it happening.
no,
Yeah.
listen. Let's just be real.
Mellow.
Baltimore and another South Florida boy that we gotta all love to death, Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that he doesn't break through and get a chip here eventually. That kid I'm not gonna lie. I remember the draft. I watched everything leading up to that draft. And I was like, Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball. He can do everything else. He's got a great arm. He don't have any accuracy. Look how much that's changed over the last however many years now. Five,
Yeah,
6.
Especially
Mhm.
last year. Last year
Yeah,
was
no,
his
what you
best
mean? Yeah,
year as a pro.
he'll hit you in your ear from 50 yards away, dog. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, bro is, and not only that, it's he's chucking that thing.
yeah.
So yeah, Baltimore's got to break through. You know, the AFC is tough, and you got Cincinnati sitting back in that division too. Which,
Mm.
man, you can't. I hear you.
That owner, man, the owner
Burrow's
is cheap,
a
bro.
dog.
That guy's
Burrow's a
cheap, bro.
dog.
That defense looks suspect. It's gonna look
It's
mad
always going to be
suspect.
suspect, but if they can put 56 points up a game, who can outscore them? You know what I'm
Shit.
saying?
But
Um,
what happens when you run into a team like the Chiefs that could also put up that much points, or even the Dolphins in 2023,
and the
but
Chiefs
then
put up that
no
much.
defense.
Yeah, who? Listen, if the Chiefs, the kid, the wide receiver they had last year that was a rookie, not this past, not Worthy, the year before, the boy
Oh,
that he was out
Right,
your way,
right.
got in the car accident on the interstate, left his car
Yeah.
on the highway.
yeah, yeah.
He's about to catch that suspension. He ain't got it
Mm.
yet, right?
No,
No,
they
he ain't
say
got it yet. There's no way he doesn't get suspended for almost a season for that. I do
Yeah.
like Worthy, the kid that they drafted last year. Kelsey's on his last legs.
Yeah,
The offensive
Kelsey
line
picked it
is
up.
suspect. Pacheco didn't look the same after he came back from the broken leg last year, although I
yeah.
still like Pacheco.
I like Pacheco too.
But the way Kansas City moves off of running backs, they're not going to pay him.
Nah,
And,
they're
he,
not.
and he's about to do a payday, and he's not
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
get paid. He'll go
The
down to
writing's on the wall over there. The writing
So,
is on the wall over there.
yeah, no, but Kansas City is, yeah, Mahomes is about to turn back into a human being for the next few seasons until they have an opportunity to. You've already seen once they started doing two deep safeties, he's not
Hmm.
the same football player. He can't beat you over the top, and I still love Mahomes, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens in the next few seasons as far
There's
as
gonna be a
people.
lot of check downs. A lot of
Andy,
check.
Listen,
how old is
listen,
Andy Reid now? Andy Reid's on his way out too. He's in
yeah,
his
it's about 70, about 70 some
75 ish.
change.
Yeah, bro.
So,
Andy
so
Reid.
Mm.
So we'll see.
now, hear me out. If there's something that me and you really learn today, I'm gonna teach you this: death, taxes, and Patrick Mahomes going to
My,
the Super Bowl.
oh my
Amen.
gosh.
No, and I'm not hating on that, but I just think we're gonna see. Juwan Taylor's from my hometown. I love Juwan Taylor. He's from Cocoa, Florida. Big Chocolate City, baby. Shouting it out.
Uh,
Any of y'all watching, bro? I'm representing all day. Um, but yeah, Juwan, I love Juwan. I love when Juwan caught that contract with Kansas City. But you see that he's constantly getting flagged for lining up a whole yard behind the line
yeah,
of
yeah.
scrimmage at the right tackle because he's getting beat off the edge all the time. And that's one of their best offensive linemen they have right now. So what are we looking at going forward? You know what I'm saying? They got to load up that O line. They got to keep weapons for Mahomes. How much are they paying Mahomes a year now? Does anybody know?
Shit.
Shh.
60.
All I do know is he's like in the bottom 10 in terms of like contracts.
Well,
But
now he is, but still,
yeah,
that's because well, and that's
It
a
was
whole
done.
for
They
another day.
contracts are like makeup, man. You could just keep on applying.
yeah,
But I think Mahomes, out of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, he's the one on board with trying to follow that Tom Brady role. Like, I'm
Absolutely.
not gonna
No,
take
I
that
agree
much
with you.
money.
No, I agree with you. He wants
Yeah,
to leave money on the table so we can win football games because it's
yeah.
Mhm.
important. If I can't pay everybody around me, and I mean, I saw this thing the other day. It was about wealth, but it said that once you start making so much money, you don't get any happiness. If you're making 10 million a year and you start making $25 million a year, you're no happier than you were when you was making 10 million a year. Whereas if you're making $25,000 a year and you start making $150,000 a year, you're ecstatic. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
you're right.
I think a lot of football players need to realize this. There's so much other money on the table for you as far as endorsements and everything
Yours, yeah,
that it's worth leaving some money on the table at the negotiate when you're negotiating with your team so that you can have all the other things you need.
yeah.
Um, there's a
That's a good topic
there's
for
a
next.
million ways to hustle in this day and age, and
Hmm.
I get your hustles on the football field, brother, but you can't win if you're not letting everybody else hustle with you. You got to leave
With
Oh
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good topic. I'm going to definitely add that in for next week. So to transition, NBA rooks not excited about draft placement. What
Ooh.
What are your thoughts on that, man? And we'll go with you, DG.
Yeah, someone take over.
Hey, in general, the NBA draft is kind of weird itself, to be honest. You know, you can't really get mad. You could turn a good team around in the NBA. Pacers. See what happened this year with them. All the guys on their team. I didn't know them coming into the season, but now I know all of them because they made it that far. So now they got an official roster. They've been drafting well. So I don't. To me personally, if I was in the NBA, I wouldn't mind playing. I mean, I don't know about the cultures and the head coaches and how they run things. That's a big component as well, in regards to what team you go to. But um, be happy that you got drafted. You're one out of every 1,000 kids that have been
Yeah, it's way
waiting
more
for
than
this
that.
moment.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, and make the most out of your situation. You can't tell a team that you don't want to play for them before they even draft you. Look what happened with Shador Sanders for all the way to the fifth round.
Uh,
Got too cocky. So
uh,
I
so
think
I got a question for you, DG. So
mm,
you think this has to do with these kids getting paid early now?
yeah, they feel like they got more of a
Have we
privilege.
have we seen this before? Can you remember? How old are you? And I'm just asking there, just so we can get some. You in your late 20s?
28. Yeah.
Okay. Um.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you seen what we saw in the NBA draft any other time than last year? Last year was the first year I noticed it so prevalent, most certainly. But in the NBA specifically, have you ever seen so many kids unhappy to be drafted in the first round, bro?
it's
Nah.
crazy.
It
It's
was
Uh,
wild, right?
mm,
Yes.
What I see is I think that these kids that are now getting high school money in certain sense, state of Florida just made it you can get paid in high school. If you
Yeah.
yeah,
show out for whatever podunk high school you play for, boy, you can get paid from the local car company or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I think it's the money. I think it's the last the lack of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not graciousness, but being happy, bro, because
killing
you just
shit.
you just took your people out of the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, whatever situation
early.
you're in, the rest of your lives are going to be different. But now kids are starting to see that money earlier and earlier. You know,
Mhm.
look at the dad from Tennessee that just moved his son that was the quarterback for
Nico. Yeah.
where did he end up at UCLA or
UCLA
Mhm.
and his
right?
brother as well.
And he was mad about his boy was making 4.5 or $5.5 million to play college football. I didn't even know that kid's name last year. I'm not a Tennessee
I
fan,
knew,
but I hadn't heard of that kid.
but it was just like he's not that. He's
No, he's
good.
not. But he
Right.
listen. Now he could turn into that, whatever. But the kid was getting paid, bro,
Yeah.
bread, dog. And you
Mm,
want to make a big deal about $500,000, and but that's a story for another day. But my point is I think this money coming in so early is changing the way these kids are looking at
mm-hmm.
these amazing opportunities that they have, bro. Um,
Mhm.
I think we're seeing it in college football too. The kid from Georgia that was supposed to be a top one of the first quarterbacks off the board this year that ended up transferring to Miami
Oh, Beck.
Beck. Carson
because they
Beck.
paid him way more money to go to Miami than he would have made being drafted in the fifth round.
Think like somewhere in the sixes or more.
Yeah, so I really think this NIL money it's affecting every sport, but we just got to see it really close and personal with how these kids reacted to being drafted by teams that they felt that were less than ideal. And you and me spoke about this the other day, bro. What was it? It was the kid to Toronto, most certainly. The kid
Yeah.
that went to Salt Lake City.
Ace
Um,
Yeah.
Bailey.
Ace Bailey was the first one that we saw that seemed like he was upset to say the least.
Right.
The kid that went
Like
to
you could see
Toronto,
it. Like there's
I
no
bro.
think
Yeah,
hiding
no, like
it.
he dropped the F
the
bomb.
mama was telling him it's okay, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. You just got drafted fifth overall, fourth overall, fifth overall,
Fifth.
fifth
Yeah.
overall in the NBA draft, and your mother is consoling you because you're mad about where you went to. Bro,
Ridiculous.
it's changed, dog. Okay. It's not the same anymore because that was so wild to me. And then the kid that went to Toronto too
Yeah.
seemed so mad he was going to Toronto.
Right. I'm just like, bro, a good opportunity. Like, this is something that many kids in his age or in his era will kill for. They're
Dog,
like, man,
yeah, bro, I would. do anything to be anywhere in a position like that.
Shoot.
Now, what I noticed that you said too earlier was something about the Pacers drafting well, and I was going to say, do you think the Pacers drafted well, or that trade they made with Toronto last year to bring in Pascal Siakam was what really seemed like it took them over the top?
They
So
made good trades.
when he first started saying that, I wasn't so, but then I really thought about it because you got Halliburton, who I'm okay on. Now, we've never seen a player have as clutch of a run in the playoffs ever. I mean, Michael Jordan didn't hit a game-winning shot in every series in any playoff run, and I am the biggest Michael Jordan fan there could ever be. Pascal, though, was what made that team from being a borderline play-in team to a team that just made it to the NBA Finals. But then you got and help me out here, guys. Who are some of the role players on the?
Benedict was drafted to them.
They got Nebbenhart.
Nembhard, yeah.
Nembhard.
Nembhard.
Turner. Is Turner
Turner.
still there?
I'm not going to count
No.
Turner. Turner's a bit.
Milwaukee.
It's been there. What's another one of the small forward shooting guard players?
Mathurin.
And Topin.
Let me get on
Toppin.
Obi Toppin, yeah.
Obi. No, we're gonna do another shout out, bro. Obi's from Palm Bay, Florida.
Oh,
He's a Florida boy.
I thought he was from New York.
Yeah, I thought he was from New York.
Bayside or Heritage. He went to Heritage High School for a couple of years before he went to a private school in New York. I got some of my people that love Obi. Evidently, he used to babysit one of my nephews, and from what I hear, he's a good kid. He was a great kid. He's obviously not a kid anymore, but he was a great kid. His whole family are good people, and I want nothing but the best for Obi. I remember when he was playing for the Knicks and showing out. But yeah, Indiana, I think, goes to show you that we are in a different land in the NBA where every team has the opportunity, specifically in the East, to make a run. They did draft well. They drafted, I would say, solidly, but they made that trade last year that turned out to be a huge pickup for them. And we're able to go all the way. And listen, should have maybe won the finals this year.
Yeah.
They was okay, run through them. That was a 7-game series that if Halliburton didn't get hurt in the second quarter or whatever that was, we don't know who would have won that game. The Pacers might have walked away with their first chip, man.
He came out hot. He
was hot. He was hot.
Which to me makes me feel like every team now has an opportunity in the NBA. We're not in the dynasty mode that we used to be in, and with the changes that they just made to the salary cap and the max contracts and stuff. Yeah, we're gonna see the apron, all that. Yeah, we're about to see a different day and age in the NBA where the Magic, just to rep our home. Listen, our Magic are close. I haven't seen a Magic team that was this close to maybe really winning a chip.
They look good.
93, 94 Magic. They had Shaq and Nick Anderson and 3D and Penny, and you know what I'm saying. Horace Grant, I think, was on that team.
Yeah.
Because it was the year before Shaq left that they beat the Bulls when Jordan came back. But it's an exciting time to be an NBA fan because no matter who you are a fan of,
every team got a shot.
You just watched the Pacers go from 3 years ago. I don't know if they made the playoffs.
They made the playoff, but they never exceeded to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right. Yeah, no, and I was a huge Reggie Miller fan. So last time they went to the conference finals, I feel like it was 99, 2000. But yeah, man, that team right there shows you every team in the NBA has a chance now. You draft right, like Bro said, a couple good draft picks, a couple good trades, a good free agency signing or here or there, bro, and you're there, dog. So, and especially this next year because Tatum's going to be out, Halliburton's on the bench for the year. Who's coming out of the East?
Who? You gonna call me crazy? I have Orlando. Orlando.
Woo! I love
Orlando.
Listen,
Orlando.
I hate to be taking over your show. Where do you think Giannis is going?
Who?
Hey,
I want to see him go to the Knicks. That's where I want to see him go.
The Knicks.
We can't. Nobody can argue that the NBA is a better league when the Knicks are relevant.
They are, but
Okay,
they already relevant now.
yeah,
But
but
Yeah.
oh yeah, Brunson's a dog. I'm on Team Brunson all day long. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? I'll fight you about Brunson on God. All right. If you were to put Giannis with Brunson,
that'd be nasty.
woo, I think the
But
ship's coming back to New York next year.
who's leaving? Who's
Yeah,
leaving?
yeah. Who would you
Carl
give up?
Anthony Towns. I give up Carl Anthony Towns. Maybe Hart or one of the role players and as many draft picks, the rest of the draft picks I have for the next 10 years. I don't give a
I
damn.
think the Knicks is still no lie to you, Quinn. I think the Knicks will be in the same damn position. And let me tell
Yep.
you, because now you got a big that can't shoot as good, but it's more of a physical force.
Who can't shoot?
Giannis.
Oh,
Giannis,
y'all sleeping on, bro. Y'all sleeping on, but
he
leave
got
Giannis open at the 3-point line. He slapped. I'm from right here. I go see Milwaukee games all the time. I'm gonna tell you right now, you can get courtside seats in Milwaukee for cheaper than you can anywhere else in the country. So y'all ever want to go pretend you're a rapper? Come up to Milwaukee and grab you a courtside seat. I have a whole
Thank you for
family
letting me know. Thank you.
for like about $1,100. All four of us were sitting courtside.
Hey, check this out though. We got one guy who like to travel around the league and wear different jerseys above.
You talking about LeBron? You talking
No,
about
no,
LeBron?
no, no, this guy right here.
Oh,
He
bro, right
like,
here.
yeah, he likes to go to different teams and
I got it's DG, right? I don't know we're already in the podcast. I just keep saying your name because I don't
that
want to.
that's Mel, that's
DG.
Mr.
I
Mello.
got it. All right, the name right there. No, I got it. I'm going off of boxes. DG was the
Oh,
one that brought up the drafting of the Pacers, so I got Mello. I already put that together. I'm slipping on, bro.
yeah,
I want to make sure I'm not messing up his name, so I just haven't been saying it.
good,
Right.
good.
Oh,
So before I transition though, I want to let y'all know about that whole college football and the paying of the players because that's what we started with. I honestly feel like every time that conversation comes into play and I start thinking, I'm like, damn, Reggie Bush was doing this shit for free. You know what I'm saying? Like this man was showing out like that for free.
what Reggie was the first of them. I mean, you remember when they shut down not
USC.
no, the Texas school that had Earl Campbell in them in the late 80s. They just started SMU.
SMU. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Is finally back on the scene because they shut that whole school down for doing what is legal now. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, there's a 30 for 30 on it. They had like the craziest backfield that you could imagine. That they were paying them boys right out of high school. But yeah, that's a Reggie was the first to, well, I don't know if he was the first, but didn't he lose his Heisman over this?
He did.
They need
Yeah,
to get it back to him.
yeah, but they should have been gave that back.
They
But
should, no, they definitely need to give it back to him.
we got let's see here. What sports organization would you be a GM for? And this one I'm going straight to you, Quinn.
Who, me?
So yeah, what
Oh,
organization would you
well, obviously, I would want to be the GM of my Dolphins because I would love to see my team do well before I die. If I have to hear one more thing about the 1972 undefeated Dolphins, I'm gonna hang myself in the patio or something. I don't know.
That's all we got.
Listen, I went through. I'll never forget. I'll give you an example. 1993, Dan Marino tore his Achilles in Game 3 against the Browns of that season. All right, we were stacked. All right. The first week of the 1994 season was the first Dolphins game I ever went to. I was 10 or 11 years old. Actually, it was my 11th birthday present. All right. Dan threw for 454 and 6 touchdowns against Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots, and we won the game.
cutting up?
Right, cutting up. But listen, we were always so close, and we never actually made it. So I would love to, obviously that would be my choice. But I would think if you really wanted to be a general manager and be successful in this day and age of a sports team, you would have to pick a team that you felt like was on the cusp. I would say the Detroit Lions, man, because
That's a good.
and I guess I could pick one for every sport, but you
You
look
got
at
any
how they're
any
being constructed, how they're playing ball right now, the stars that they have, and the way that they've drafted, the way that they've picked up free agents, Dan Campbell, the way he's changed that whole organization. I think being in Detroit right now as a Lions fan or a part of that team in any way, shape, or form would be a whole lot of fun for a team that was literally the laughing stock for
Hmm.
all of our childhoods. And they had some of the Barry Sanders, Megatron. They've had some of the most iconic players that anybody will ever remember, but have had zero success on the field for sure, for real. So it's great to see Detroit be where they are right now, and I'd say that would be a team I'd love to be a general manager for.
Right, right.
Uh,
Okay. You Mellow?
for me, for basketball purposes, I would like to be the GM of the Oklahoma City Thunders. I like the job that Sam Presti did over the last 15 years in Oklahoma City, turning draft picks into assets, into profitable assets, and the way that he was able to construct that team. Like a few years ago, they were just a bottom feeding team. So now they made the playoff to the Western Conference Finals. Now eventually winning a championship. It goes to show you how much assets you can have and you can move around within the years. I think right now
If
within
you
the
draft
next
well, if you can
yeah,
draft well, yeah, that's what it is. But yeah,
the next for football, I would say the Rams. We're in that one period of time. Well, hear me out. We're in that
I,
one period of
I'm
time.
with you. I'm with you when you're
Yeah.
right.
So remember that one period of time when the Rams said fuck the first round picks, like they kept
yeah.
trading away first round
Yeah,
picks
when
every
they
year,
first
every
came
year.
in and they
Yeah.
started trading everything they had. Yep.
Yes. Then it goes to show me you don't necessarily need talent. You don't necessarily need to find talent in the first round. You can always find talent in the
Later.
what you call it, the later rounds, like the fifth round pick, like Nuka Puka. I know.
No,
Puka
Yeah,
Nakua.
him. He was a fifth round pick.
Well, if
Karan
you look at
Williams,
the
another
majority of
fifth.
players that are superstars in the league, they're not first round picks. So you're on to
Exactly.
something there. If you can
Yeah.
draft in the middle rounds, great. You're way better than a guy that can get the first. Forget the first round. It doesn't matter. Teams are
Yeah.
built from round 2 to 5.
Top five.
Gotta get
Exactly.
there, bro.
Yeah.
True.
So that's my reason, JP. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to root for the Rams.
no.
No,
Listen,
he's
listen.
not. He's not wrong. McVay and that general manager know what they're
Yeah.
doing because
That's
they lost the whole team and are back again. They're on the
Yeah.
cusp again with a 35-year-old quarterback that the Lions decided to throw away.
throw away exactly.
Right.
And that's actually like if I'm not rooting for my Dolphins or my Dolphins are out of the mix, that's actually a team that I watch due to how they're constructed. And then they get some of my Florida State guys, so I can't be
Jared
mad.
Verse. What's the Florida State guy? Verse.
Verse, yep,
Yep.
yeah.
Verse and another guy,
I
number
think
55,
Fisk,
Fish.
Brandon Fisk. Yeah.
yeah, two solid pieces right there. So if I had to choose, a team to be the general manager of, I would probably choose my Miami Marlins, man. Man, the reason I choose the Marlins
Yeah,
is
we
because
all gonna need an explanation here, bro. I feel like all of us. Yeah, we need a good one too, bro.
so the reason I choose these guys is because we right in the backyard. We in the backyard. All the talent is here. You know what I'm saying? So
For baseball,
for baseball, all the
oh,
talent is
I thought baseball like come from like the Caribbean. Like I
I
be
was gonna
seeing
let him.
come from
I was
Puerto
gonna let him
Rico.
finish before I interjected too, GG.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
telling you, is the Dominican Republic
that's
attached
our
to Miami
backyard.
somehow? That I don't. I'm not. Is there like a road that leads there, like the Keys?
Man, it's a road. It's a road. We get all these young guys, right? And they play trash with us, right? And then once they start getting their batting average up a little bit and start making some
And they
plays,
trade. And they
then
trade.
we trade
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Then we trade
Trade
them.
them all.
But we have the guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they draft well enough to have a guy.
Following the Dolphins. Following the
They,
Dolphins.
they
Well,
follow it's all
I
a
think
fit.
I think we got to go deeper than that with the as far as all right. So, I understand I'm a little bit older than some of y'all, so I might be going back a little far here. The Marlins were an expansion team, and I'm not positive what year, but mid to late '90s, maybe early '90s, right there.
Early, no, later, late 90s, I think. Late 90s.
96.
Quickly put a team '90s. Thank you for the facts, Milo. I like DG too. He's quiet, but when he comes through, it's something solid. That is every time DG opens his mouth, there's really not. You can't debate the man on what he said because he said something that was a fact. It was like written in scripture, and you just. But listen, so they put that first team together: Bobby Bonilla, Leiter. God, I wish I could. Gary Sheffield, who had been there for a little bit. Uh, Oh man, I wish I could remember more teams off of that. But they won a World Series.
Right,
If y'all
2097.
remember, 90, no, late 90s, I feel like.
97.
97.
Yeah.
And what did they do in the next year? They sold that whole team.
Yep.
Bobby Bonilla is still making 1.5 million dollars off of his contract with the Marlins, still to today. Okay,
That's
because they deferred the contract. If you Google it right now, Bobby Bonilla gets
Yeah.
a $1.5 million check from the Marlins.
every year.
I think it's for like 2050 or something crazy, but don't
That's
quote me
wild.
on that.
2035. So yeah, in the next 10 years,
No,
he should be.
it's going back, and he ain't played with them since 97,
Wow.
98, 99.
That's new information for me,
But I
right?
love that deal. That's a great deal. I want to sign one of those deals if anybody's interested that's watching. But
Sure.
no, so the Marlins have done this historically where they load up on a team and then they get rid of all the assets.
Yeah.
My question is why? As Florida fans, as South Florida, we're all affiliated with Florida or South Florida in some type of way. Do we not support that team the way it needs to be supported for them to keep a team in place like we see the Dodgers or the Braves or other other teams that we've seen be iconic in our lifetimes? Because the Marlins absolutely get the assets. You're right.
Yeah.
They get the assets. Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
Cabrera that
Dontrell Willis.
in Miami, first one we watched in Detroit for the last 15 years, night and day. I remember that kid was, I don't know how tall he is, but he had to weigh 140 pounds when he got drafted.
Damn.
Then all of a sudden, bro looks like Martin
Brawley.
McGuire out there swatting home runs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it's either it's the owner of the Marlins is always looking to make the most money he can, or Miami has too many different things pulling its fans in different directions that we don't properly support that team, which is why they can't hang on to any of their assets.
It's hard
Not
to.
cut you. Not cut you off real quick, but
I
the
love
reason
your
why,
interjection. Tell me what you
yeah,
know.
yeah, the reason why the Marlins are where they at right now because of the location where the stadium is played at. I understand Greenwich. It's not supposed to make a difference, but I
Are they playing
noticed.
at Davy still? Where are they playing? They're still playing at the Dolphin Stadium, right?
No,
Mm-mm.
no, they got their own stadium now.
Oh,
Long
do
Beach,
Yeah, they own stadium.
Lone
Little
Depot.
Havana, Little
They in
Havana.
Atlanta right now. Lone
So it's
Depot.
like where
Where's
where
the
the
stadium?
Hurricanes used to
All right,
play.
listen. Where's the stadium at in Little Havana? Is it off of
So it's like no deeper. Like
Gunboat. Like
it's like damn, how should I break it down?
it's literally where the Hurricanes used to play.
There you
Oh,
go.
okay. I was gonna say the Heat used to have a stadium that was in the hood, bro. Was in
Yeah.
Overtown. There was a bridge right by the Heat Stadium that they used to tell you white people couldn't go underneath. You know what I'm saying? All
That's
right,
crazy.
but they still had full. So I don't understand how that could have
It's,
too
all they
much.
did was move it over. They just moved it over.
Okay,
Like they tore down that that
but
that that land.
you feel like it's a bad part of town, or
I mean, for one, the traffic is terrible. That's
right?
number one. Number two, I guess I'm not being racist or
No, no,
anything,
keep
but
it real. Yeah, keep
yeah,
it above, bro.
it's a Spanish town, and I guess for like an average baseball fan, they don't feel like driving all the way down to
For the
Little
white
Havana.
folks,
So,
for the white
right?
folks, I'll say it. So
Yeah,
yeah, you don't want to. I'll say it. So
yeah,
so you're saying maybe the scary ass white people are scared to go down to the baseball
yeah.
because they got to drive through Little Havana
Exactly.
and they're worried for whatever reason.
So,
Yeah.
Be on mute whenever, Javon. Yeah,
I like that take, but the thing is, it's more so what they do inside. Like you said, Q, it starts at the top. We getting guys like Derek Jeter to come in our organization, and all of a sudden, our best players start going up north.
well, I'm not gonna put. I can't put that on Jeter though.
Come on now,
That's not
Gina fucked up this team from head to
Oh,
toe.
that's been a thing, but
Jeter,
that's been a thing though that Miami's done since since Jeter was still playing ball with the Yankees.
but he added on to it. It was like
Yeah.
we just became like the minor league team for the New York Yankees at one point.
Yes. That's
But
Right.
what I'm telling you, as far as like we got these Dominican poppies who hitting the baseball, you know what I'm saying, with no problem. and we got all these, Caribbean folks who can actually play the game. They're in the backyard,
Right.
and
Oh, you know,
they start off with us, and we don't build no culture. I feel like whenever the team is doing good, like right now, we're on like a 8-9 game win streak. Attendance is going up. So I don't think it's the attendance problem. I think it's more so the winning problem. Like
Mm,
we're not always winning. We always in rebuild mode, rebuild mode, rebuild mode. So if I had to choose an
like
organization, I'll try to
we
bring some
trade our
stability.
assets. Yeah, they trade their assets as soon as they get them. So
As soon as
yeah,
they no
and
development.
you're not wrong. It is. It's been a rebuild in Miami
for
with the Marlins.
years.
Since the last time. Every time they win a chip, it automatically turns into rebuild mode. They don't
Rebuild.
even try to run it back, um, which I don't understand. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough call, bro. That's something that we should
So
open
you,
this up for. Yeah, I would love some takes from the fans that watch the show. Tell us what you think, man, because that's a tough one. I don't understand why Miami stays in the in the cellar of MLB baseball. You know, what are they? They're the MLB eight. They're the East Division, right? It's the Braves, the Marlins, the
Mhm.
Phillies,
Nationals.
and the Yankees. Or not
No,
the Phillies,
Mets.
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 Phillies and the
Mets.
Mets. Yeah.
Mess, yeah.
Are the Nationals in that division too?
I
Yeah.
believe so. So
I
to
don't know.
transition, this is one that our expert Mello, what I'm saying, can give us a good opinion on. And I've been catching up with some games, but I just been seeing mostly the stars. So I'm not even gonna sit here and rap cap with y'all, Supple fam.
Yo, I think
The
I got.
WNBA standouts.
Yes.
So for you, Mello, who do you think are some standouts as far as the WNBA is concerned? And how many games are we in now? Like 20,
Ooh,
30?
about like 20, about 20
Okay.
something. Close to
And,
20 something for sure.
and for our casuals, can you explain how many games are in a WNBA season?
So last year, well, this year they just pushed to 44 regular season games.
Mhm,
Last year was about 40, 42.
mhm.
Um, they don't count the Commissioner Cup as a game. They just call it like that's just like a
I need you to explain that. I need you to explain that.
oh,
I
so
think Caitlin Clark and them girls, doing the Commissioner's Cup. Is that the best out of four, or is that like a 7 game series? Explain that to us.
okay. All right, so the Commissioner Cup is just like the NBA Cup. If you guys watch the NBA, so obviously, unfortunately, I'm not even gonna say unfortunately, but the WNBA there's not that many teams. It's only 12 teams total right now. So
And the
what
expansion
it
teams,
is, huh?
didn't they add some expansion teams?
Yes, they did, but they're not there just yet. Like next
Oh,
year, yeah, this year we have the Valkyries, Golden State Valkyries. Next year we're having Toronto. The year after that, we're having Portland. Then the year after that is Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly. And Philly will be the last expanding team coming
what
to
happened
the
to
W.
my Florida Fever, man? What happened to my
Uh,
Fever?
which one? You talking about the Miami Souls?
No, yeah, my Miami Souls. Yeah.
Hey man, they were look. They didn't get enough votes for them to come down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nobody worried
so
about that. It's too much going on in
yeah,
Miami.
yeah, too much exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So
So yeah, who's your standouts for the
so
year?
far, man, come on. I mean, we gotta go with the obvious, Caitlin Clark. But any like people unlike Caitlin Clark, I'm gonna go with Nafisha Collier, Brianna Stewart, Skylar Diggins,
That's my
Serena
girl.
Anderson, the girl out in Phoenix, two girls out of Phoenix, by the way, Satu Sabali, Alicia Thomas. In Atlanta, you have Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard. Man, the list goes on. But so far, man, like who's up there this year? Alicia Thomas. You always gonna have Asia Wilson in the conversation,
I was about to say,
and
what about her?
Navisha Collier from Minnesota.
Hmm. Collier, she a beast.
Oh nah, she's like that, like the best two-way player in the W. You
Mhm.
know, she has a nice touch to her shot. That's what
Right,
she's known for.
right.
Like
That mid range
yeah,
is real.
it doesn't matter where she is at on the court, she's gonna make that bid.
Okay, so that leads me to ask,
Yeah,
um, as far as women and men are concerned, who do you think has the prettier jump shot, a woman or a man?
a man.
You think a man?
Oh man, yeah.
I
I
had to
think
come off
women.
my mute for this. Why are you even touching that with a 10-foot stick?
I think
Ah,
women have prettier jump shots than men.
You think so?
I
oh,
do.
listen. Who's is there a better 3-point shooter in the WNBA right now than Caitlin Clark?
Man,
Oh,
No,
Sabrina,
right?
Sabrina's close. I put
You
Sabrina
think close?
close.
You think there's somebody that's close? Okay.
Yeah.
How do they compare to the best NBA jump shooters? Do you guys think?
so I say they stack up really nice, minus the whole. If you put Curry and Damian Lillard in the fold, you got more men who are skilled. But I feel like as far as just pure jump shots, some of these
Yeah.
women, and I think their game is a little more technical. I feel like the male game is more athleticism, and
No, so yeah, so that's something that I see huge, and I remember from when I was a kid playing high school ball, we had a girl named Leah Gotti. Leah, shout out to Leah Gotti if we ever she ever sees this. She played for Cocoa Beach High School, and so I'm pretty sure she won a women's girls state championship with Cocoa Beach in maybe 1997 ish, 1998 ish. But anyways, that girl had the best jump shot I've ever seen in my life. Okay, and that whole team was solid and could beat the boys' team, and it had nothing to do with athleticism.
Wow.
It had to do with fundamentals
right.
because basketball is a very fundamental sport. Um, Technique matters, similar to baseball, similar to hitting in baseball, most certainly. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if I would classify the shot. I mean, a pretty shot doesn't matter. It matters if it goes in,
And it goes in.
right? So you can have the ugliest jump shot ever. We all remember being kids, bro. The kid with the ugliest jump shot ever was the one that was banging them at the playground. You were like, how the hell does he do that? You know what
That
I'm saying? So pretty is a hard thing. I think the talent with the the WNBA is definitely stepping up with their talent though over these last few years. The little rivalries that we see between Caitlin Clark and what's her name, dog? I love
Reese.
that too.
by,
The girl
Reese.
from
by you,
LSU. The girl from LSU.
Bayou Barbie.
Yeah. Angel Reese.
Bayou Barbie. Hell yeah. And I think Flau'jae Johnson right behind her.
Yeah, she should be coming in next year, right?
Yeah, no,
Next
I
year, yeah.
love her to death. I love her to death. I love her attitude. I love the message that she gives. You know, we're to a point in sports where the WNBA is getting to be pretty exciting. I love how you just came with the facts on it, bro. I need to expand my game like you're where you're at, Mello, because that was awesome.
Yeah,
I
that
no, I
that's
love that. I was taking a little break. I had to go grab something, but I was listening to what you were saying, and I was like, "Oh man, bros, come with the facts, dog. This is what I'm talking about, man."
yeah, that's
Um,
his expertise right there.
Mhm.
This is our WNBA guy right
Yeah.
here.
okay, well, no, listen, we all should be though, because
Yeah,
it's a marketable sport where these women are putting the work in, and I mean, just because we don't got someone dunking from the free throw line doesn't mean their game is actually. I'm going to be honest. I'd rather watch the WNBA than the NBA right now. Because
Yes.
I have such a hard time watching a dude come down on a fast break and take a 3-point shot and
yeah.
stand underneath the basket and he misses it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anybody like I would have been running laps until I threw up. Half of the shots I see people taking in the NBA today.
Yeah.
The game is becoming unwatchable to me because
That
I see things happen over and over. And I mean, the Boston Celtics just lost that series
because too much shooting,
because they forgot how to play basketball, is what it was.
analytics, analytics versus actual basketball.
Whatever you want to call it. I don't even,
That's what
they
it is.
forgot how to play basketball, which is we need to put the ball in the hoop. And if we're not able to put the ball in the hoop like this, then we got to do it like this.
Everybody think they the Warriors of
I guess so. Well,
2016.
listen, and Steph isn't, no, and Steph is untouchable. I got one for you. Who's the face of the last how long 15 years of basketball? Who changed this generation of basketball? LeBron James or Steph Curry?
That'd probably be Steph.
Right.
Steph.
Who's the face of this? Who's the face of this era of basketball? LeBron James or Steph Curry?
I'll say Steph Curry.
I
Steph.
agree. I agree. What
Because you
you
said
over there quiet? Let's hear you. Let's hear you, big dog. You got to take.
Come
Yeah.
on, DG. Who's the face?
I mean,
You
with
want to
this
say
top
LeBron
row,
because it's how it's been portrayed, but let's be real. Who changed the game of basketball since Jordan left the league?
I
Well, since Jordan
mean,
left the league, it was LeBron. But you said the
Is it?
face.
No,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Is it LeBron changed the league or Steph changed the league?
Oh, you said of this generation.
Well, period. Since
Period.
Jordan was the face of basketball,
Right.
he
And
left.
it
LeBron
transitioned.
seemed like he was the
Kobe.
face.
It was Kobe at one
Kobe,
point.
I agree with that
Then
too.
it transitioned to LeBron for a little period, and then Steph Curry took over of
But
this.
when you look at this new generation of basketball, who's the face of it though? Is it LeBron or is it Steph? I guess is my question.
This generation. Okay, so this
Steph.
generation,
You guys feel what I'm saying? Yeah.
I get what you. Like,
But we got all these kids that are jumping up and down and screaming LeBron's the GOAT. But how can you be the GOAT when you're not even the face of your era?
well, I feel like it depends on what era, because we talking early 2000s, we talking
Mm, I mean,
2010s.
we're talking
2010s? Are you talking about the
last
2010s or
25 years
2020s?
of basketball. Last 25 years of basketball. Who stands out?
But the thing is, it changes every so often.
I
You know
get
what I
Yeah.
mean?
that.
Like a
I
new
get
avatar
we put
every
it on
every two.
but as a society, we put it in a much broader picture. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really considers like, all right, Jordan was super legitimate from 90 to 98. He's still looked at as the face of basketball for about a 10 to 15-year period there, even though he was only winning chips for 6 of those 15 years. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
LeBron came in into 2003 and was, I don't know about you guys, but for me, was somebody that I super rooted for, man. I wanted to see that kid do everything. And I have. I've seen him do a lot. When he came to Miami, I was so excited when they stood up there and said, not five, now,
Mhm.
I
I
was
was
like, yeah, bro, let's do it. Let's bring it to Miami, But to me, I look at LeBron's career, and despite the amazing accomplishments he's made, there are also a lot of letdowns in his career. I
yeah
look
for
at
sure.
Steph's, I don't see it, bro. Nobody expected Steph to do this. Nobody expected Steph to change the whole entire league and how the game is played. We just watched the Boston Celtics, who are one of the most talented teams in the league, stick to a three-pointer that wouldn't go in.
Mhm.
The
Yeah, that was,
demise of their whole season because they're trying to copy what we've seen Steph do over and over and over again. Steph changed the game of basketball. LeBron is an amazing athlete and one of the most durable athletes we've ever seen, but he didn't change the game.
that's where I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Q. But I definitely think Steph did change the game of basketball. I think it's just as far as the whole generational thing. This man, his longevity has transcended like time, and it just seems like every so often we got something something to look forward to when it comes to like record breaking and don't get me wrong, Steph.
No, I'm no. Listen, I'm open for debate. I love the debate. What happened to bro? Bro just left us. All right.
Oh, too long. Where's he? Oh yeah, he probably be back on. Who knows?
But yeah. But okay. So what would you say? What's one accomplishment or one recognition that you would give LeBron
Me?
for doing? Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, listen. I don't get me wrong. I love LeBron. I went to go see LeBron play in the American McDonald's game, and I believe it was 2001 and 2002. It's played in Orlando every year. So
Okay.
I went and watched that game. And you got to realize Chris Bosh was on the floor for that game. I think Dwayne might have been on the floor for that game. There were a lot of players that were on the floor for that game that have been legends in the NBA that I didn't necessarily recognize at that moment. But LeBron was a man playing amongst boys in that game, and one of the
Shit.
most prolific high school games that there is. All the McDonald's All American game. You know what I'm saying? That's where we
Mm.
see the next round of stars. And I was so impressed with his physicality. I was so impressed with his game at that point in time that as growing up and being a Jordan fan, I wanted to see LeBron replicate those things. And what my issue with LeBron is that he has allowed his ego I believe, to overshadow his accomplishments in so many different ways. You watched over and over again in the mid and early 90s, reporters get Jordan in an interview and ask him if they thought he was the best basketball player to ever play the game. And Jordan would look him in the face every time and say, "That's not a decision for me to make. I don't get to say that. I just do my best every time I step on the court." LeBron has tried to ride this wave of being the GOAT. Um, and I think it's at the detriment of his long-term reputation. You don't have quotes of Jordan standing out there saying, "I'm the best ever." I'm trying to be. You can't, and I think that, yeah, man, I think LeBron's ego maybe has gotten in the way of some of the things he could have accomplished. And also it's very hard because he's faced some great teams. He's lost some tough finals, but when you look at I believe it was the first or the second season with the Heat, he was playing, I think it was Dallas. I feel like it
His
was
first season. That's first season.
okay, it was his first season. And they damn near locked him up in the finals. It was game 4, game 5, and there was maybe 15 seconds left on the clock. Miami had the ball at half court. They went to inbound to LeBron. LeBron went to go make his move, and he bounced the ball off his knee, and it went out of bounds. And the other team got the ball, and they ended up winning that game. And that was the first time that I really remember seeing a chink in his armor and being like, yo, I would have never seen. Jordan would have never taken that moment, bro.
So let me ask you this,
Didn't
Q.
happen.
At what point do you think it's more of his marketing plan versus his
Oh,
own belief?
LeBron's marketing and business plan is night and day compared to Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. What LeBron's been able to do business wise and with everything outside of basketball, I mean, he's an amazing. I think he's a role model for so many young men. Absolutely. Like, I don't take away from that whatsoever. It's just a GOAT debate that I
Yes,
have.
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. So
His GOAT, well, the GOAT debate doesn't have anything to do with that. I think those are two
that's what
totally separate planes.
I feel like that's what makes the money though. If we continue to have these conversations, your resume, you continue to stack your resume against one of the greatest. Because I think Michael Jordan is one of one. There will never be another Michael
Yeah.
Jordan, right?
Kobe was the closest thing we've ever seen, and AI comes in a very close third.
Right. And those two resumes still can't,
No, yeah, right.
you know
Well,
what I'm
we're
saying?
talking about heart, though. It's about
Right.
heart. It's about
So,
heart. Heart is what makes the difference between most men.
right.
Okay, we all can have the same goals, all and the same skill set, bro.
Mhm.
But it's our heart. It is the heart of a champion that differentiates us from each other.
Right.
And that's what the difference is there. But no, I think that what LeBron has done in a whole as a career is remarkable. I think his longevity is remarkable. Um, how old is he now? 41, 42?
41, yep.
Yeah, look at how he's still playing ball. You know, even the thing with his son getting drafted to the Lakers. I was not necessarily a fan of that when it first happened. I thought Bronny should have stayed in the college another year.
Mhm.
I thought Bronny needed another year of college ball. He had the heart issue in the preseason of the college basketball season and never really rebounded from that. I thought Bronny probably would have been a top 10 or 15 pick if he came back the next year at USC and
For
balled
sure.
out.
For
And
sure.
maybe higher than that, really. You know what I'm saying?
He's on his way throughout the season, but I definitely get that.
Yeah, and I wanted to see the kid have that journey. But no, man, I love what LeBron has done for the culture. I love what LeBron has done for player rights. Um, but at the same time, I think with all of that said, Stephen Curry is the face of his generation of basketball. When we look back in 30 years, people are going to remember Steph more than they necessarily remember LeBron. And like that scoring title is great, but when we were growing up, we're all in our 30s, right? I'm in my 40s. You're about 28. Never mind,
28.
bro. I'm old ass man. I gotta stop forgetting that shit. But anyways, right. I'm thinking we're all at least, but when growing up, man, LeBron was the GOAT, and we were looking for the next GOAT. You know, or Jordan was the GOAT, and we were looking for the next GOAT. And I think that LeBron, in a lot of ways, has filled that role, for the culture and for how he has preceded the game of basketball while also promoting his community. You know,
Right.
but Steph has changed the game.
Right.
Steph
Right.
changed the game. You know what I'm saying? What's to me is what matters when we're actually talking about the game of basketball in the NBA. Steph has changed the game. The game will never be the same because of Steph Curry's impact on it.
No, for sure, because it is a different style of play
Yeah,
now.
and I don't think that we can attribute that to LeBron in any way, shape, or form.
Because his three ball, he
Right.
developed a three
Yeah,
ball.
bro can
Right.
pull up from half court, dog, and it's gonna bang it.
From any distance,
Bang
from
it,
any
dog.
distance,
Yeah,
he just
bang
took
it.
it.
Turn
That's
around and walk away while the ball's in the air because he knows it went in, holding his arms up and stuff. And you're just like,
this.
I've never seen anybody do that.
Mm-mm. So that segment right there concludes, our episode for today. I appreciate you for coming on with us. There's always a treat having you, and you are welcome anytime, bro.
No, listen, I'd love
Anytime.
to do this with y'all. I feel like maybe you guys had somebody sitting out today. That's why you threw me on. I would love to do this anytime with y'all. I
Shoot.
appreciate the opportunity just to run my mouth, talk my junk with y'all. Honestly, well, when you cut the recording, we'll talk after it. Finish the show.
For sure. So, long story short, my guy, Sports Guru Q, we definitely look forward to seeing him again.
Definitely.
And make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more. And we definitely will be coming to you via Twitch on, I want to say, every Wednesday night. So just tap in with us and signing off.
Until next time.
Until
Until
next
next time, I like it.